Hi, my name is Phil. I like talking about politics. In this video I want to discuss the role of Boris Johnson in the first day of the Dominic Cummings scandal, or should that be the latest Dominic Cummings scandal. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So Alastair Campbell, who is Tony Blair's former spin doctor, was on the news at the weekend and said that Boris Johnson was not a leader. The interviewer seemed taken aback by this and thought, that's not really very fair. But why? On the first full day of the illegal behaviour of Dominic Cummings regarding his breach of both lockdown and isolation law, did Boris Johnson come out to conduct the daily briefing knowing that there were going to be a lot of questions about this and being the leader and going, I'll front this, lads. I'm not going to ask any of you guys to front these questions. I'm going to do it. I'm the leader. A strong leader would have. A strong leader would have. In fact, a strong leader would have conducted every single daily briefing, with, of course, the exception of the ones that took place whilst he himself was ill. But no, he sent his Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, to make a complete tit out of himself in defending the indefensible. It was also remarkable that pretty much every senior member of the government went on the attack to defend Dominic Cummings immediately that the story broke. But not Boris Johnson. From him, not a word was spoken. Now, I checked his Twitter account. He had tweeted, but not about this. Completely different tweet. Why was he getting his most senior cabinet colleagues to weigh in on the matter? And all with the same lines, by the way, all coming out with the same lines. So obviously written by the same person. We know who that person was, Dominic Cummings. Why didn't Boris Johnson show some leadership and say something himself? Whether to defend Cummings or to condemn Cummings, or even just to say that he'd be looking into the matter, serious allegations, I'm going to get back to you. No, not a thing, not a dicky bird. And he didn't just go into hiding, as he often does, when the story broke. He'd already been in hiding since Wednesday's Prime Minister's questions. So, no, Boris Johnson is not a leader. And it makes no difference whether or not you approve of his policies. This is an objective fact. Leaders do not hide away at a time of crisis, whether it be a crisis for the country, for the party, or even for his own government, in this case, government advisor. In fact, it's at times of crisis that leaders emerge. People stand up who keep their heads when everyone around them are losing theirs. These are the ones who emerge as leaders in such times. But Johnson has chosen to hide himself on an almost permanent basis. It's why he's called the part-time Prime Minister, and that's putting it generously. Even when he announced his bizarre and confusing changes to the lockdown rules a couple of weeks ago, he read the script to a camera in a pre-recorded message. He didn't read it out to Parliament first and then take questions from political opponents or even political friends, which is what he should have done. But no, because he's not a leader. He didn't even read it out live and then take questions from reporters about it. He didn't even consult his own senior government ministers before recording it, the people he appointed. And a leader doesn't hide from anyone. But Johnson hides from everyone. He hides from the media. You know, he ensures that whenever he is in a position to have to take questions, it's carefully selected reporters and journalists that he'll take questions from. You know, in fact, he's not even allowing his ministers to go and be interviewed by what he might call hostile reporters, the likes of Piers Morgan or anyone on Channel 4 News, for example. He only lets them be interviewed now by people who will be kind to them. He hides from his own government. He hides from his own backbenchers, so he hides from his own side. It's not just that he's hiding from Keir Starmer or the hostile sections of the press. He hides from his own public, the dumb bastards who voted him a massive amount of power. But even with all that power, so much power that he is able, with Dominic Cummings, to completely rewrite our constitution without anyone so much as raising an eyebrow, or at least anyone that can stop him. And he's still too scared to put himself front and centre on any uncomfortable issue. And all the issues are uncomfortable at the moment, aren't they? He is weak, and this latest episode with Dominic Cummings is exposing that weakness even further. Obviously, he was always going to be attacked in the left-wing press. The likes of The Guardian and The Mirror, even The Independent, are always going to be attacking him. It's also another thing, you know, when the likes of The Times and the Financial Times attack him, I mean, they're right-wing press, but you would expect that too, because although they're right-wing and they support the Conservative Party, they are no fans of the destructive habits of Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings. So you'd expect them to also be critical of what he's doing. But now I saw The Spectator, which is basically the British Breitbart, has said that Johnson will be shown to be weak if he doesn't sack Cummings. The Daily Mail were also in on the act, although they weren't bringing Boris Johnson into it. They were just going along with the scandal. I mean, it's one thing, as I say, to have the likes of The Times attacking this policy of hiding, because The Times have done a "Where is Boris Johnson?" You know, and for them to do that at such a crucial time is not helpful to him, because, you know, they do influence right-wing voters, but who else are right-wing voters going to vote for at the end of the day? But, you know, they'll always back the Conservative Party when it comes to it. But The Spectator, these are the lying racist toe rags that Boris Johnson worked for before becoming a politician. They fully support the work that Cummings is doing, as far as I can tell, at any rate. So when they say that Johnson will look weak if he doesn't fire Cummings, they almost certainly mean it. There's no hidden agenda there. They mean it. Like, as I say, The Guardian, The Mirror, who broke the story, will use anything to try and get rid of Cummings. You know, if he's seen picking his arse down, walking down the street, they'll film that and try and use it against him, because they hate the damage he's doing to our country and our democratic values. But when political commentators who applaud the damage being done to our country by Brexit, or the erosion of government accountability, or our democratic principles, when those people also say that Cummings should be fired, it's not because they'd be pleased to see him go, but because they do not believe that Boris Johnson can afford the political price for retaining him with these ongoing scandals. And they desperately don't want Boris Johnson to suffer fatal political damage, at least not until he's delivered their precious Brexit in all its misplaced glory. And there's still a lot of work to be done on that. So that's my reading of the situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, then please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.